After a long day of being pulled in every direction, the last thing anyone wants to think about is what's for dinner. That's where Schwann's can help, with a variety of real food choices, frozen to lock in freshness. From ready-made meals, premium meats and side dishes, to vegetables, ice cream, and more. Schwann's foods go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours, so you can pull off a delicious meal in no time at all. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. To help simplify mealtime, visit schwans.com. This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwans.com.
Ooh. Well, that's quite loud. This is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from Key Largo. We're going to be attempting to call up our friend Jenna right now and see how she's doing today. This is episode 119. I think it's called Fat Asians. Hello? Oh, the phone's ringing.
Hello.
Hello, Jenna. I
Hi,
just did
can
the
you hear me
intro
okay
and
now?
all that. You're on right now.
Oh, I'm on. Fabulous.
Yes. Do you have your beverage in front of you?
I have my beverage, and I have something pulled up on my iPad that I thought was funny today.
What?
So, yeah.
Okay, well, I did a little research on fat Asian Americans, which I don't want to sound... Well, you mentioned to me the other day that you were in a salon,
Yes.
and there happened to be some Asian Americans in there, and they were quite Rubenesque, I think is to be correct. And
Yes.
and we had a
was,
discussion whether that you did not think that was the norm.
Right, yeah.
For Asian
Not very
Americans.
typical. It wasn't that they were, like, large or big boned or just everywhere. It was just disproportionate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out, from what I've been reading, is that it's considered everything I read, you're considered to be more American when you're slightly heavier.
I would think so, yes.
No, and that's by the Asian American population. They're heavier than their native counterparts.
Right. Well,
And-
I'm guessing that these particular people were, most likely born here and speak completely clear English. But it was butts. It was butts. There was just really big butts on
They were
Asians.
big butts.
And that's
Really?
just, they were big butts. Yeah.
They were not just badonkadonk like the one that comes out where you could put a drink on their butt. It was all the way around.
It was kind of all the way around butts. I mean, they had still small torsos and small waists and, not very busty, but
Wow.
big butts.
Maybe
So
from a
I came to the
sedentary,
conclusion that they...
sedentary position. No, if you sit a long time, I went to where I went to college. There was a lot of Asian Americans there, and the women were generally very thin. The Asian American women were very thin girls, and and to this day they are. I mean, I always assumed, and I checked some other things. It made me think about how the Dutch are really tall, right?
Yes.
And this, Americans in general, and after doing some preemptory reading, like when you call it an African American or a white American or Hispanic American, if you're talking about the same demographic group in socioeconomic backgrounds, they have a tendency to be of similar body shape. The biggest determiner of, let's say, obesity is your socioeconomic status on average.
Right.
You know? So the older you get, the more likely that you are fitting in this certain group. Now, that doesn't mean people break those, that there are people that are wealthy that are heavier. I mean, I don't, that, wealthy that are heavier. Matter of fact, I have a friend here who's guy's a nutritionist, and he's a larger guy. And I'm not going to mention his name, but it's no secret in town. And he's a great guy. I don't believe you could be a nutritionist or a dietitian and not be in the best of health, because there's coaches out there that can barely walk. Remember?
Yes.
Rocky's.
Well, they say though.
Remember Rocky's trainer?
Yeah, but that goes along with the old adage of that they can't do teach. That those who can't do teach.
Mm-hmm.
So they may know everything about it, but they can't do it themselves, so they could show you how.
Well, we're getting far. What I meant to bring it back to is the same habits. People have the same habits, the same similar diet and breakdown in these groups. So when you think about, and I don't know how this is a Keys bartender thing. When you get people that come in, we get all different types of people that come in. I mean, you work in a boat place, so I have a feeling that boat people tend to cover all different body shapes.
Yeah, they do, but it's actually shocking how few, like Asian Americans, I see in my dealership. So I wonder if that's just like maybe a culture thing.
No, you know what? I'll
not...
tell you something. In the Keys, we don't have a ton. I don't see a lot of Asian Americans in our. They don't reflect the amount of Asian Americans you see in Miami.
Right.
Yeah, like the Keys are overwhelmingly, for when it comes down to, I'd say the correct. You have a high Latino breakdown, right? But that's because of Miami. But the Keys are more heavily white than the rest of South Florida, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's tilted out of all this area down here. It's probably one of the highest white. If you talk about Coral Gables and things like that, some of those older ones, non-Hispanic white, and then you have a healthy African American population down here, and then you got a very small. All these Asian American, no, you have a very tiny Asian American community, and almost every time you see them, if they could be every so often there's some, but they're almost down here. I mean, think about it. Most of them belong in the restaurant business. The Thai place, Chinese place. You don't see too many Asian Americans running down here to. Maybe boating isn't their thing down here. I don't.
Yeah, and
I don't want to be stereotypical and stuff like that, but it's just the way it is. And I had a tendency to believe, and I got dissuaded of this when you were talking about Asian Americans. I was thinking about height and all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
right? If you go to a country like United States, right at the turn of the 1900s, right? They were the Americans were considered to be the tallest and some of the most healthy people in the world. Now, let's say our average height of men is 5'10". In the Dutch, it's 6 foot. The Dutch.
Oh.
Yeah.
The average height of the Dutch is 6 foot.
Of a Dutch male.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 2 inches higher. I mean, I see it regularly when they come in. When I see a tall family come in, I have a feeling that they come from there. There's been a study on that. It made me think, since you were talking about these people working at. I don't want to stereotype people, but was it a nail salon where you went to?
Yes, it was a nail salon.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I hate to do that because I didn't want to stereotype. But
I
okay.
know.
Well,
But
when a group of tall people come in, I think, and they look foreign. I'm thinking Dutch. I know it sounds
right.
crazy,
Well,
right?
but see, now you're really tall, and your wife is very tall. So if you think too, like that technical ethnic background is like an average taller height. But you've been saying that what we talked about the other day, right? It's a lot of the environmental impacts in our nutrition that changes a lot of that.
Yeah, and when it comes to height, they said it's 20 to 40% environmental causes. Now, I imagine when it's drastic, if it's like let's say you had a famine, like North Korea. There's a lot of people that are stunted in their growth there. But they say it's 80% genetic in some populations. And it varies in some populations. Like in China, they say it's 65% genetic.
Oh.
And there's other factors, meaning, so in among the Dutch, let's say it's 80%, or among white Americans it's 80%, which I don't really understand. But there's other things that come into that. I think they make the mistake because in a Dutch study, when they found out how tall they were, they realized there were social reasons for them to be tall, right? It wasn't evolution.
Yes.
It was because tall men and women reproduce more, or tall women reproduce more with tall men. More likely, tall men were more likely to have children, and if they did get divorced, remarried and had children. So they produced more offspring, and they increased that genetic predisposition for doing that. And that was just so crazy when you think of that. When we make stereotypes about people, you think, oh, well, you come from, like me from where I come from, if I see someone, I don't see a Vietnamese, I think they're small because they're Vietnamese, right? Because Vietnamese are small people. No, because their diet, maybe they didn't have a lot of dairy, because dairy is a big factor on your skeletal, your muscular skeletal development. And I'm thinking if they don't have a lot of that there, right? That's girth and height for
well,
people.
a lot of it I think too is environment. I think a lot of it is environment as well. Like your parents. If you see some very thin, active, healthy parents, their children are thin, active, and healthy, and they eat differently. But if you see parents of a child that are quite obese, that child is usually obese.
The honey boo boo phenomenon. I got it.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
there, and that's directly socioeconomic. When you got these people that when you come home and the food of choice is a bag of cheese puffs, Doritos,
right,
Toll House cookies, whatever they are, and very little fresh vegetables and things like that. And it happens in poor neighborhoods and things like that too. But the nice thing about this, the topic came about. That whole topic came about because we were sitting there. Jenna comes in at every. I'm there. I think there's many a week, so I'm there 3 days during the lunchtime. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and almost like I'd say 80% of the time, Jenna's there every time for lunch, and we have a topic, something comes up, and that's why we're doing this now, because it's a bar thing. We have a drink. I'm drinking. What are you drinking?
What is that called? A Madras.
You having a Madras right now?
Oh, right now? No. Right now I'm having a Bud Light.
I'm not going to talk about what you drink when you come in there. I'm supposed to be like a priest.
Yeah. Okay, so
we agreed to talk about the topics. I'm not going to talk about what you drink all the time.
We have to talk about how the topic changed
you
so
just
drastically.
dined yourself out.
Right? That when I first brought up the topic of how I was so shocked about the big butts that
Yeah.
I saw at the salon. You weren't there that day. So it was Tuesday, and there was someone else working.
Paige.
And I was not going to say her name, but you did. So we get to talking. I get to talking to Paige, and then the waitress that was also working.
Do they have
And it
theories?
was very-
Do they have theories?
They thought their theory was that they were paid for it, that the butts were implanted.
Oh.
Right.
Oh,
So-
well, I
so
mean, I swear to God, that is, and this is where I agree with you, that is not a discretionary. I mean, they may have money. The stereotype with Asians are very good with their money, very frugal, and they're not.
Right.
What would you call that kind of spending? That would be
Frivolous.
frivolous. That's frivolous spending.
Yes.
I know. I mean, and every so often there was a woman that Abby worked with. I got to ask her about it, and she had everything done, like boobs, butt, lips, eyes. She looked great. But I mean, and I don't know if she was like 100% Asian. She could have been like. It's weird with a mix. Like I had friends that were Italian, and sometimes they have look like they could be part Asian. You know? And then wait, this is the way the world's going to be from now on. I hate to, if you're listening to the show and you're a purist about race, there's no purity in any groups of people. We're all, if you go back far enough, that we're even the difference we were talking about Neanderthal, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain amount of Neanderthal in people, and that so we're a mix. We're all mutts, and the things that we have on surface, their characteristics.
Right. Well, didn't they say that Genghis Khan had so many affairs that like 13 million people can actually trace their ancestry back to him?
I didn't know. I don't know if that. That's a loosely type thing of affairs. Because he raped.
Well, right, but yeah, exactly. I mean, you're the history major.
He copulated across of the Far East, Central Asia, all the way into the Eurasian area. Yeah, Genghis Khan was all over the place like that. Yeah, that's very. I mean, yeah, some of the most brutal warlords probably have tons of descendants and things like. And luckily, that's not. I always believe that there's now we're talking about bloodthirstiness and stuff like that. I don't know if that's necessarily passed on. That's not a positive necessarily a positive trait. If you have a bunch of people that are bloodthirsty warlords growing up in the same village, that village may just disappear. It doesn't seem to be like a dominant gene you should have.
So I still need to call out Paige for what she said, because you told me, I tried to tell you this the other day, and you said, no, save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
So as we're going through whether or not Paige and Katie just thought that there was butt implants involved with the butts that I had seen.
Uh-huh.
The topic of the Kardashians came up, and I said, no, those are real butts, because one of them specifically actually got x-rays done to prove that her butt was actually her butt. And they still didn't believe me. They still went on and on about how there's no possible way that their actual butts could be that big.
Oh, it's enhanced.
So, right, exactly. And surgically enhanced butts. So, Paige just blurts out, well, I just don't know about that. I mean, she says, I just am not sure about anybody putting anything in my butt.
Oh,
and I looked at Katie.
Whoa. Okay. That's
and I look, right. And this is hilarious. So I look at Katie and I say, I bet you that's not the first time she's ever said that out loud. And Katie lost it, dying, crying. Paige lost it. We're all laughing. We're all in there by ourselves.
Did you bring it to her? Like, did you ever just say to her and say, listen, are you serious about your hard and fast rule about people putting anything in your butt?
Well, basically she was I said it with an absolute straight face, and that's when she just absolutely lost her mind. And it was great that I got to call her out about talking about how she wasn't really sure about anything being put in her butt. So
it's nice to see people take a principled stand so often. But there's tons of videos out there on nowadays that show that there's a lot of people that allow a lot of different things to be stuck in their butt.
Yes, that's very true.
And if we were able to go, and if the Lover's Boutique was going to allow us to go there, then we could find all the different things that they had
that
people could put in their butts. I mean, that were designed to be put in their butt, not just because there used to be. There's a list on there. You can just Google it. Well, you know, it's funny. I do have my laptop right. I mean, I have my Chromebook next to my thing because I don't like to mess around with the computer when I'm doing this. But things taken out of people's. See, this is the kind of
removed. You're looking at things removed from people's butts?
Yeah. I mean, there used to be a bit on Saturday Night Live called, what was it called? Appalachian 911? And 10 weirdest things pulled out of people's butts. I don't want a video. Come on, man. Video's not. Okay, here we go. Let's see. 22 objects lost in their ass. Here we go. Okay. Oh, body spray. Okay, here we go. This is, we started out with a serious, what would you call it? Erudite. I think it's called erudite when you make a conversation that's, you know. Oh wow, they even have an X-ray of it.
I was just looking at that. I found
an Axe body spray canister, and it's up there. I mean, that's way up there. That's past the.
Oh my God.
The link to the pelvis.
I found one with a glass bottle.
It shows incarcerated impulse body spray. Oh, glass perfume guy. Do you think he was trying to make his farts less stinky? A house key.
I have one that shows a glass bottle of a 72-year-old.
Oh, yep. I see a beer bottle. It's a long neck. Now, okay. Let's get back to the key.
Oh.
I would with the key thing, I would just put it under a rock. You know? I think that would probably be a wiser place to put it. And
I would think so.
Okay, the beer bottle's way up there. I mean, they show the X-ray.
Right?
You don't know if it's closed or open. Wait.
Yeah, you can't really see that end. Oh, gosh. I found a
flashlight.
I found a one.
A flashlight. There's a flashlight. Now they put that on. It's like a reverse flashlight. A peanut butter jar. Wow.
I found one of a 50-year-old male in Hong Kong who put a live eel.
Really?
A live eel. Yes, and the abdominal pain was actually the eel biting his colon. Oh, gosh.
Oh, really? Oh, he put it in. Oh, wow. What do you think?
A van.
What do you think? You put an animal in there, it's going to get all freaked out. A toy car, a Matchbox. Oh, billiard ball. Oh, man.
A billiard ball. I found a Buzz Lightyear.
Now it's the butt ball. A dumb phone. A dumb phone. That's what they call it, a dumb phone. That looks like a Nokia. One of the ones with the antenna. Why a phone? Why would you? I mean,
a vegetable.
That's a different
I don't know why
butt dial, right?
Right. That does bring a new meaning to butt dial.
A pint glass. Because you're not going to pass that. Because you put it up the wrong way.
No.
They say, a gun. A revolver.
What?
It looks like a .38 special.
No.
Oh, yeah. No. It said it looks fake, but no, that looks real. Oh, holy crap. Holy crap. Spray paint. Yeah, spray paint. A live shell. A live shell. What? Wait.
Oh.
It's bigger than a
there
bullet.
Is one,
it looks like an artillery shell. Another bottle, but with a fake hip.
Oh,
A
that's
bottle
terrible.
with a retrieval wire. What?
Yeah, I saw one. I just found your key. Did you see the vibrator and the salad tongs?
No.
Like somebody put a vibrator up his butt so far that he couldn't get it out, so he put salad tongs up there to try to grab it.
And you lost it?
So it's just,
You lost
and
both?
yeah, so there's both are out. That's
Oh,
my
there's a
gosh.
knife.
No.
A knife.
Oh, that's
A coffee mate creamer lid. Man. I like Coffee Mate too. There's a dildo.
Cement.
There's a
Did you
dildo.
see the cement one?
Wait, a dildo doesn't look right. No, what?
Oh, if you're talking about the dildo that was up there for over a year and it had like broken down. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh man.
It was really bad.
I can understand that because
Yeah.
and tongs. There we go, the tongs.
See, you
Wait.
found the
Well, they got them. They had the tongs on it. Well, it doesn't look like tongs. It looks like the little skeleton hands.
Yeah. It looks like grill tongs, like the ones that you would look like, use on the grill.
I would use those plastic ones that are heat resistant. Ooh. But I mean, once again, after seeing this, there is nothing going up. A whole shampoo bottle. Did you see that?
Okay, here is one about a potato. Have you
What?
seen those things about a potato?
I
So,
didn't see the potato.
a potato. And this is what I've been
Well,
told
that kind
by
of makes
a
sense. That would
doctor.
come out kind of. People do have things that come out like that.
But a doctor friend of mine who actually was a customer at work used to come in and tell us all these horrible stories about people that were in the ER for weird reasons. And he told us the story about an older woman who was homeless. And she came in complaining of pain and saying that she had leaves growing out of her vajayjay.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out that it is very common practice for homeless women who have sex with homeless men for cigarettes or whatever it is that they want in exchange, use potatoes as a
like
contraceptive.
yeah. What's that called? What was it called?
It's like a contraceptive. They use it to
No, what was
block
the one that it was
themselves
called?
from-
The one that uses it blocks off the urethra.
No, urethra is your urinary tract. It's the one that blocks your cervix.
Yeah,
Right?
that
So
cervix.
the-
What's that called? It was a little cap, kind of rubber.
Yeah, I can't remember
Concave.
what
It's
it's called.
called.
I don't know.
Okay,
But
well,
the homeless women in Chicago, downtown Chicago, it's common for them to use a potato to shove it up there, and then it prevents them from being pregnant. So there was a woman, an older woman, who had come in, and the potato had been up there for so long that it was growing.
oh really?
Yes, and it had the little, what do they call it, the eyes of the potato, and it was growing leaves and stems out of her junk.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So they said that it was the most horrible smell that they could possibly imagine when they extracted said potato.
No, that's a good way to start the. What diet was that where you get off the carbs? Atkins diet. You go and you say, hey, listen, in order for you not to want a potato, I want to show you something. Here you go. This potato just came out of Gertrude's hoo-ha. And they'll just go, okay, I think I'm pretty good for a week or two not having a potato.
Oh, my God.
That would do it. Oh, my God. What, Buzz Lightyear. There's a Buzz Lightyear up someone's butt. You saw that? A Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
It's clunky with the clunky feet. And they did put it in the right way, it looks like. They put it in
Feet first. It was feet
at what point they're going, they go, too far. You know?
Yeah.
And then they got to go and
I
mean, is it an accident? What's it say? Oh, it says to infinity and beyond. Oh man. Oh, how we make
goodness.
light. We should make light of that. There's all sorts of horrible emergency room stories about that. Stuff similar to that. There's
This is
guys that
just
used to take
unlimited.
cocaine. You ever hear about this?
What's that?
They when they shoot cocaine into their pee-pee.
Oh, I thought it was into their, what is that? Is it the gooch?
No, in their pee-pee. And the
Is it-
guys
in
would
their
do it so they
pee-pee?
get an erection that would last long.
Oh.
This is before the blue pill came
Viagra.
around. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess it was something else they could do. And this guy was chasing, I think he was having vigorous kind of active sex and running around. He ran into a door and he broke a blood vessel. And it swelled up to the size of a grapefruit.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Yep. Imagine going in. You got to explain to him. He's like, that's very important, that part. When you get your ankle swells up, you know, they can cut it. You can cut off your ankle and stuff like that. You still, but you know that thing. Whoo, it's got to be pretty scary. I don't know.
Okay.
And an eel, and if you have an eel and you go like this is an eel, but and it was Appalachian 911. Appalachian 911 on Saturday Night Live, and this guy would always come in. I forget the actor's name, but the guy on Saturday Night Live come in. He goes, "I was just taking a Statue of Liberty, and it got up my butt." You know, he's just walking in, you know, all sideways and stuff like that. But I mean, I've had to hold things in before when I had to go. I can't imagine what that feels like. Yeah.
Did you see the one with the toy car? Like, who just thinks out of the blue, I'm going to drive this Hot Wheels right up my pooper? Like, how does that work?
The Hot Wheel?
Yeah. Did you see the toy? It was a toy car, and somebody made a funny comment underneath, and it says, he took park it in the rear too literally. It was...
Do you think they set up the little plastic tracks and kept on firing it down there? Well, I know. There's all sorts. I mean, I imagine they just look around the room and go, "Hey, what do we got here? You know,
what else can we shove
what
in
we
our
got
butt
here?
today?"
Oh, wait, there's a stapler. You know," and I go, "Oh, okay, maybe not, maybe not." And, you know, just because you have a set of Ginsu knives doesn't mean. Well, at what point? Well, at what point does that become a good idea?
Yeah, I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So Paige made that statement that she didn't want anything to do with someone approaching her.
Well, she's just made
exit.
it sound like she. But it was just hilarious because, of course, you know, Paige was married for a very long time, and her husband passed, and she's been single ever since. So.
I'm going to mention this.
You dang well know.
I'm going to mention it to her. I'm going to say, "Hey, I heard you made a bold claim. You know, affect your dating life. You know."
Yes.
There was there's all sorts of things that happen. So that's I imagine we're going to have a conversation one time. We'll just talk about stuff and we'll look at them and. You know, if I was a beer bottle, I would think like a Modelo bottle or one of those. What was it? The ones with foil have to be really crazy.
Oh,
you know?
Like a Stella?
Yeah, because that got to be irritating. Right now, that's foil. That's more paper, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh. Put glass and all that stuff, and
I can't imagine that would be comfortable trying to remove it, or what would break, like the light bulbs. There's no way you're going to get a light bulb out of there in one piece.
I can understand the psychology because you try and you go, why am I doing it? And all of a sudden you got it in, you go, oh no, and then you don't want to pull it out because you're afraid. That's the breaking part. Right?
But where did your mentality come into place where you decide that you're going to shove a light bulb in your ass?
Well, you know,
I mean,
boys will be boys sometimes. You know, they'll look at it and say, someone had an idea, right? More than one, you know, the light bulb went off and you can say, well, gay or not. I mean, it may not be a gay guy. There was a comedian today talking about. He says he's not gay, but he's gay for Ryan Gosling. You know, that's what he said. Oh no, but if someone said a bet, made a bet, and remember on once again the thing that may have gotten us, our invitation revoked by the Lover's Boutique was perhaps Luke's wanting to have to sample a vibrating butt plug. Now, I mean, it could be the idea that you don't sample intimate items and try to get them back in there. They don't want even people think that they do it. So, we joked about it, and they go, "Hey, we can't have people saying that." We're legitimate. We're a good business. But I don't see them having an open night for the Chamber of Commerce anytime soon, right? Maybe something coming in there and go, "Oh, look at that over there, a little pocket vagina. That's nice." Oh, and look at the beautiful selection of dildos they have. Right? I mean,
look at that wall of cock rings.
Oh yeah, anal beads, huh? Oh. Honey, I've never thought about these. Oh, and they come in all these nice colors too, which I don't understand why would you need different colors, because they're all going to be shit colored eventually. But eventually, when we do get the listenership and stuff like that, we'll just get Adam and Eve to do it, the online one. We don't have to go to a brick and mortar, even though I wanted to keep a brick and mortar thing into it and try to get it normalized and all that stuff. I'm sorry you guys didn't feel that way about it, but we could have been there and we could have said, made it like a regular place to be. You know what I mean? That's sort of a thing. You said your friend Crystal wanted to go there?
Yes. Crystal is actually the alter ego of my friend Kelsey.
Mm.
She's just very inappropriate at times.
What would she?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Kelsey would have won.
Kelsey has 3 different alter egos. She has normal Kelsey, and then when she's very perverse, she's Crystal. When she's a little on the dingy side, she's Cheyenne. And when she's absolutely drunk, she's one of those girls that slaps the glasses off your face and gets all crazy. And that alter ego is Olga.
Okay, that makes sense. I think Cheyenne sounds more of a stripper name than Crystal.
Yeah, well, that name kind of goes along with it a little bit.
A gymnastics coach, but I don't know why I came up with that, but yeah, I know Kelsey. She would have been good on there. And she could have gave Luke a run for her money for that stuff. But we wouldn't want her to do anything that would, put her reputation in and having it, having an alias. There was another. Originally, when we first started doing the show, there was a one of the young women that was on the show. She was on probation, and she wasn't supposed to be drinking, and she was on the show, and she kept on using her name. And I go, I don't know. I know you as one name. I can't call you the other. And I keep on forgetting. I said, will you just wear a name tag then? Just always wear a name tag, a big name tag. They call you out.
Right, just so you can call her by the proper name.
Proper name. So it just went like that. And, I mean, the name she had wasn't as rare as... Actually, your name is more rare than her name.
Oh.
Okay? And your name isn't super rare. Because there's a couple times there's 2 Jennas at the bar at the same time. But... Mm-hmm. I've definitely seen a couple of this person's names before, and she would just want to come on, and she'd have her alias. She goes, I don't, and she'd have a couple drinks. She goes, I don't care. My name's so and so. I said, well, you just screwed up all the time we just put in just building an alias for you. That was great.
Yeah, I was actually really hoping that you were going to give Paige an alias, but you just
no, I'm not giving Paige an alias. She doesn't care.
That's true. She doesn't really care.
She doesn't mind a bit. You know that all that stuff. There's, we're gonna we don't need. There's very few. I'll tell you, we're gonna end the show today because we're coming up on 40 minutes and it's probably good enough time because we had our thoughtful beginning and then we started talking about things people had up their butts, which is I think was a perfect balance.
It really was.
Yeah, it was, and it was perhaps 30 years ago, and I was at a wedding, and I'm having a cigarette in the lobby of a nice place in Philadelphia, and I was in a wedding party. I'm wearing a tuxedo, and I'm just sitting there having a drink and smoking my cigarette, and these young kids talking, and they were young, like, I mean, no more than 14 and 15. And the young girl, and this is where I'm shocked by what people said. At that time, I don't even think I had what the girl described, but she in the middle of it, I don't want to say it too loud because my daughter's in the other room. But the girl says, real loud, so everyone hear, I didn't know you were going to F me in my beehole. Okay? And my eyes went like this, and my cigarette, and I said, I was enjoying my cocktail and my cigarette. And right at the time, I turned around and looked, and the kids are looking at me like, she's looking at me with those arched eyebrows. She goes, did you hear that? Like that? And I'm like, oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I just finished my cigarette and, took a couple puffs and stuff and put it out and walked back in. They said, oh, okay, I'm not coming out here again, I mean, back then, I think we could still smoke in the rooms, but I wanted to be polite. After that, I was never shocked by anything when I started seeing the light bulbs and all that stuff. I did do an episode on scrotum self-repair where a guy stapled his. You heard about that one?
Yeah, well, you used a belt sander and got it stuck in there, right?
A canvas belt. He worked in a factory, and a canvas belt. It's kind of like that. A canvas belt that drove the machine, and he would go up against it in order to excite himself. And he was so embarrassed by it that he repaired it. And after a while, before going to the doctors, he got infected, and he had to take care of it. But I mean, I hate ending on that note. That isn't very alarming.
Well,
Jenna,
to end on this note, here's the thing: is that there are the teenagers now. Because the only reason I know this is because my youngest sons are 21.
Yeah.
And they tell me everything. But now the big thing is for girls to have it in the beehole because then they can't get pregnant. And almost all of them brag about how they take it in the beehole.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a thing now.
Oh, well. I know that's what the virgins, the people that make the commitment, the Christians, they did that a lot too.
Yeah,
that was their big thing. So that's all
right, because then it doesn't count. Yeah.
It doesn't count. Jesus doesn't see that.
It doesn't.
See me getting hit in the beehole.
Oh darn, Jesus! I'm pretty sure he sees everything.
Oh man. Hey, listen, we're ending the show. I just want to say, if we have any listeners on there, and if you are an iTunes subscriber, do us a favor. Leave us a review if you like the show. If you don't like the show, please don't leave us a review. Okay?
Yeah, just skip that part.
Go off to the side and grab a light bulb and shove it up your ass. And we'll be perfectly fine with that. That'll be, if you want to leave us a negative one, that's what I suggest you do. But if you want to leave a positive review, go into iTunes. Put it in there, because I'll tell you what that does for us. It gets us more listeners, and it gets me the ability to get higher rankings on iTunes, and the higher rankings give us more incidental listenership. And
so go on and vote. And next time we'll talk about other things instead of lollipops in your butt.
You know what? There could be a whole bunch of new things that people stuck in their butt. I mean, we didn't even touch any of the vegetables. There's no vegetables or fruits right here. I mean, I can imagine. I mean, there's mangoes and Oh, this is my dog. My dog's always freaking out. Every time I go on the radio, on the podcast, my dog's always freaking out. It comes in here and starts biting its lobster toy, and then she starts freaking out. She's the cutest little dog. I can never get mad at her. Yeah.
Well, that's why they're so cute.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to, once again, I said that if you are listeners and you are on iTunes, please leave us a nice review. I'm going to thank Jenna Kelly. Thank you, Jenna.
My pleasure.
And we're going to do this again. We're getting to be regulars. We got a regular repartee going here, and we do have that thing. We're going to keep on doing the Thursday thing, or maybe whatever, and I'll work whatever time you want to do it. Eventually, we start getting money for this and do it. I'll take a day off, and we could do a regular, like not like hobos. We don't have to wait till 7:00. I'll do it on your day off or something like that. So
yes.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? We could just go and do something. We can hang out. Okay.
We got to hang out.
Yeah. And so this is Jim the Keys bartender. Thanking you, Jenna, once again. And I'm going to sign us out. You want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Let's see if I can. I guess I should put the music on here. Where's that music? Come on.
You have to hit the button.
Boom. It's kind of. What do you think of this music? Is your head bobbing, weaving?
I'm dancing.
Yeah. I try. Cool, isn't it?
It's fabulous.
Okay. Thank you, Jenna. I'm going to be hanging
Good
up.
night, Jim. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com. After a long day of being pulled in every direction, the last thing anyone wants to think about is, what's for dinner? That's where Schwann's can help, with a variety of real food choices, frozen to lock in freshness. From ready-made meals, premium meats and side dishes, to vegetables, ice cream, and more. Schwann's foods go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours, so you can pull off a delicious meal in no time at all. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. To help simplify mealtime, visit schwanns.com.